All right, I'm going to quickly cut across to Gaurav Sawant, who joins us right there from Sri Lanka, the country that's seeing the worst economic meltdown. People there suffering for basic essentials. The government has collapsed. At a time like this, what's the next step? Gaurav, over to you.
Hello and welcome to an India Today special broadcast that comes to you from Colombo, the capital of Sri Lanka. I'm Gaurav Sawant, and this is a country that's currently in crisis, and tremendous crisis as we speak. Now, when you look behind me, these are long queues that you see for fuel, and these queues have been here for close to a week in some instances. People have been in the queue for several days waiting for fuel. We'll talk to some of the people there. We'll also talk to an elderly gentleman with us here. Sir, what's your name?
I'm Francis.
How long have you waited for fuel in this queue?
Today I got my fuel after 8 days.
After 8 days, Francis has got fuel. We'll talk to Francis in greater detail on this broadcast. And just look around. Now, this is one of the most beautiful parts of Colombo of Sri Lanka. This is the iconic marine drive of Sri Lanka. This is the Indian Ocean. And on usual days, you have thousands and thousands of tourists who are here, and especially at this point of time. But it's a double whammy for Sri Lanka. First, it was the Easter terror attack in 2019, then COVID, and then came this economic collapse. And now people actually have been forced to take public transport and trains like these metros that you see around. Intercity trains is what people are now traveling in. Public transport once again becoming very popular. Over the course of the next half hour, we will speak to India Today's team of reporters on Ground Zero. But before that, let's take a look at our top story.
Serpentine queues. Fight for fuel. Anger mounting. Sri Lanka, which is reeling under political and economic crisis, is facing an acute shortage of fuel and other necessities. In the capital Colombo, people have been waiting for days, standing in line to get fuel, and their frustration is evident.
The iconic Marine Drive in Colombo, the capital of Sri Lanka. Usually this place is bustling with tourists, especially this time of the year. You have the ocean on one side and a large number of five-star hotels on the other. But what you see right now are just very, very long queues for fuel. People have been standing not for several hours, but for several days waiting for fuel.
More than actually 2 days. This is actually result of our government stolen people's money.
Have you also been waiting for 4 days, 2 days already in a line?
2 days. Yeah, 2 days.
It's been 2 days.
The Sri Lankan government, which is virtually leaderless, awaiting election of a new president, says it is doing everything possible to mitigate the crisis. To tackle the fuel shortage, the government is introducing a quota system. Under the scheme, the government will allocate a guaranteed quota of weekly fuel per vehicle on one national ID card. A QR code will be allocated once the vehicle chassis number and details are verified. The fuel will be allocated 2 days of the week on the basis of the last digit of the number plate. The government says the scheme will curb black marketing, hoarding, and will permit equal distribution of fuel for the people. The island nation has also launched a probe into the violence inside the presidential palace that caught the attention of the entire world.
These are the valuable items were being protected by the STF even on the day of violence. Protesters could not enter inside. Look at these. Elephant teeth. These are the most precious and valuable items. Now, the forensic team which is investigating the entire violent scene, we are inside here. And now the STF has taken over the presidential palace since the protesters vacated. The valuable items are being counted and all the evidences are being collected.
India, which pledged a massive relief to its neighbor in its hour of crisis, is being hailed by the citizens of Lanka.
brother country, and they are helping us a lot, and I'm just thanking them so much. And we know that we are like having a big problems, and always they support us when we are struggling. So thank you so much for that.
The Lankan crisis could spark immigration issues in India. Several Sri Lankans have fled their land and tried to enter India illegally. They were detained and shifted to a refugee camp in Rameshwaram. Since the crisis began, over 100 Lankans have tried to enter Indian territory. The island parliament has started the process to elect a new president after the exit of Gotabaya Rajapaksa, who remains defiant, saying that he served his motherland to the best of his ability. Violent protests have stopped, but Sri Lanka is still far from normalcy. With Gaurav Sawant and Ashutosh Mishra in Colombo, Bureau Report, India Today.